What's up, everyone? Today I'm ranking all 16 ghost faces from my least favorite to my absolute favorite. This ranking is based on how much I enjoyed them as Ghostface, their personality, their reveal, their motive, and how memorable they were throughout the Scream franchise. Remember, this is just my opinion, so let's get started. Starting off at the bottom of the list is Jill Roberts. Now I know this is probably going to be controversial because a lot of fans love Jill, but she's easily my least favorite Ghostface. I understand what the writers were going for. Her motive was meant to represent fame culture and people doing anything for attention, which was unique for the time. But personally, I never found her very likable. Throughout the movie she mostly stays in the background, and while her reveal is shocking, I just didn't enjoy her personality as much as other ghost faces. I will give her credit though. The scene where she destroys her own room and injures herself to look like a victim is one of the most memorable moments in the entire franchise. Still, compared to everyone else on this list, Jill lands at number 16. At number 15 is Marco Davis. Marco never left a huge impact on me. He's one of those ghost faces that I don't dislike, but I don't really think about much either. When I think of the great ghost face killers, Marco just isn't one of the first names that comes to mind. His reveal wasn't bad, but compared to the bigger names in the franchise, he doesn't stand out enough. Coming in at number 14 is Carl Gibbs. Carl is another character who doesn't leave a massive impression compared to the franchise legends. He serves his role in the story, but when stacked against killers like Billy, Stu, Roman, or Mickey, he simply doesn't have the same impact. He's okay, but nothing special. At number 13 we have Jason Carvey. Jason is actually pretty interesting because he gives us one of the most unique openings in franchise history. Instead of waiting until the end for a reveal, we find out right away that he's a killer. That twist was fresh and unexpected. The only reason he's this low is because we don't spend enough time with him. He had potential, but his screen time was limited. At number 12 is Quinn Kirsch, the younger sister of Richie Kirsch, one of the killer in Scream 5. Quinn's fake death twist was definitely surprising the first time around. I didn't completely see it coming, and I thought it was a clever attempt to fool the audience. However, once she's revealed, she doesn't really reach the level of the stronger ghost faces. She's decent, but not one of the greats. Coming in at number 11 is Ethan Kirsch, the younger brother of Richie Kirsch. Ethan spends most of the movie acting suspicious, which actually worked against him because many fans predicted him early on. Still, I thought he was entertaining after the reveal. His performance becomes much more energetic in the finale, and he contributes to some of the fun chaos during the climax. Breaking into the top 10 is Wayne Kirsch, the father of Richie Kirsch. As the mastermind of the Kirsch family revenge plot, Wayne had a lot of responsibility. He's intimidating, he's experienced, and he manages to stay hidden for most of the film. While I think the revenge motive had already been done before, Wayne was still a solid ghost face and a believable threat. At number 9 is Mrs. Loomis, the mother of Billy Loomis, one of the killers in the first movie. One thing I really like about Mrs. Loomis is how unexpected her reveal was. The movie does a good job keeping attention away from her until the finale. Her motive is simple but effective. She's a mother seeking revenge for her son Billy's death. It's personal, emotional, and fits the story perfectly. She's not the most physically intimidating ghost face, but she's definitely one of the smarter ones. At number 8 is Charlie Walker. Charlie is honestly underrated. He does a lot of the heavy lifting throughout Scream 4 and is responsible for some brutal attacks. He isn't as flashy as other killers, but he gets the job done. Looking back, Charlie deserves more credit than he usually gets from fans. At number 7 is Amber Freeman. Amber is absolutely crazy, and that's what makes her fun. Once she's revealed, she completely changes personality and becomes one of the most unhinged ghost faces ever. She brings a ton of energy to the finale and helps make the ending memorable. She's not higher because some other ghost faces have stronger overall stories, but Amber is still a great villain. At number 6 is Jessica Bowden. Jessica is one of the more underrated killers in the franchise. She has a strong presence and stands out compared to many of the lower-ranked ghost faces. She's memorable enough to crack the top 6 and deserves more recognition from fans. Breaking into the top 5 is Mickey Altieri. Mickey is one of the most dangerous ghost faces ever. He's aggressive, unpredictable, and clearly enjoys what he's doing. His motive of wanting to blame movies for his crimes is unique, and his performance after the reveal is fantastic. Mickey feels like a genuine threat every time he's on screen. At number 4 is Roman Bridger, the older brother of Sidney Prescott and the cousin of Jill Roberts. Roman deserves a lot of respect because he was the sole ghost face of his movie. That's an impressive accomplishment by itself. He's also directly connected to the origins of the franchise through his connection to Sydney's family, whose reveal changes the entire history of the series. Roman is intelligent, resourceful, and one of the most successful Ghostfaces ever. Taking the bronze medal is Billy Loomis. Billy is the original mastermind. Without Billy, there is no Ghostface legacy. He's manipulative, calculating, and incredibly memorable. Even decades later, Billy remains one of the most iconic horror villains ever created. His reveal in the original movie remains one of the greatest twists in horror history. At number 2 is Richie Kirsch. Richie is one of my favorite ghost faces because of how convincing he is throughout the movie. He comes across as friendly, harmless, and trustworthy. That makes his reveal hit even harder. I also enjoy his motive as a toxic fan obsessed with changing a franchise he loves. It feels modern and relevant while still fitting the Scream formula. Richie is funny, entertaining, and one of the most memorable killers in the entire series. And finally, my number 1 ghost face of all time is Stu Macher. For me, nobody tops Stu. What makes Stu so great is his personality. He's funny, energetic, unpredictable, and completely insane. Every scene he's in becomes more entertaining because of his presence. Even after all these years, fans still talk about Stu. His lines are iconic, his performance is unforgettable, and his chemistry with Billy is a huge reason why the original Scream works so well. While Billy may have been the mastermind, Stu was the heart of the duo. He brought chaos, humor, and pure entertainment to the role. That's why Stu Macher stands as my favorite ghost face of all time. And that's my ranking of every ghost face from least favorite to greatest. Let me know your rankings, and I'll see you all in the next video.